I took a 500,000 subscriber YouTube channel, and in 11 minutes, I broke down the exact formula behind every one of their viral videos. Not the niche, not the thumbnails, the hidden structure that actually makes people stay and watch. And once you see this, you'll start spotting it everywhere. Even better, you can use the same system without copying a single video. Let me show you what I mean. I analyzed 5 of their top videos, and every single one used the exact same opening pattern. Bold claim, curiosity gap, delayed payoff. That's not luck, that's engineered. And the craziest part is this. Once you see this system in action, you cannot unsee it. And that's where this gets powerful. Because once you see it, you can start using it. And once you see it, you stop guessing and start predicting what works. That shift alone can save you months, even years, of trial and error. And just to be clear, this isn't about copying content. It's about extracting structure, the same way every top creator, marketer, and filmmaker learns what works. This is the same principle used in Hollywood, marketing, and billion-dollar companies. They don't guess. They study what works and repeat it with their own twist. Now you can do the same thing in minutes. This is where most people mess it up. Phase 1 is simple. Collect data. Pick 3 to 5 of a channel's top-performing videos, then grab the transcripts. That's it. Don't overthink it. Speed beats perfection here. Now drop those transcripts into NotebookLM. It's a free AI tool that analyzes only your data, not the internet, which means every insight it gives you is based on proven content. Upload the transcripts into NotebookLM as separate sources. Once they're in, you now have an AI trained entirely on proven content. This is where you start seeing real results. And in a second, I'll show you the one prompt that turns all of this into a full script instantly. Now we extract the blueprint. Most people ask generic questions and get generic answers. So instead, you're going to ask this. Analyze the first 60 seconds of each video. What patterns are used to hook the viewer? You'll start seeing the same patterns repeat. Phrasing, pacing, even sentence structure. That's not accidental. That's engineered retention. Now here's where it gets interesting. How is the content structured in the body? They give value, but more importantly, they keep reminding you why it matters. That's what keeps people watching. Here's what most people never notice. What emotional shifts happen throughout the video? Because great videos aren't just informative, they're emotional. And this last part is where most videos either win or lose. How does the creator end their videos? And finally, create a reusable script template based on these patterns. Now you're not guessing anymore, you're building from a proven structure. And this is where everything changes. Because now you can scale it. And in a second, I'll show you how to turn this into a repeatable system. This is where this turns into real results. Because up until now, you've just been observing. Now you start building. At this point, you have something incredibly valuable. A structural blueprint taken from a proven successful channel. But here's the problem. Most people stop here, they analyze, they understand. And then they never execute consistently. And that's why nothing changes. Because a blueprint by itself does nothing. It's the system you build around it that creates leverage. This is the implementation and automation phase. And this is where things start to scale. If you run this process once, you get one good video. But if you build a system around it, you get a content engine. And this is the point where most creators fall off. Not because they don't understand it, but because they don't build it. And this is where most creators fall behind. They understand this, but they never actually build the system. One that can produce results over and over again. So here's how you actually set this up. First, define your channel's core topic and target audience clearly. One sentence. No ambiguity. For example, I help beginner creators build automated YouTube channels using AI tools. That becomes your North Star. Every piece of content you create should point back to it. Because if it doesn't, it's noise. and noise kills growth. Clarity is what tells your audience and the algorithm exactly who your content is for. Second, take the blueprint NotebookLM created and make it yours. The structure stays the same, but the perspective changes. The hook might tell you to open with a bold claim, but the claim has to come from your niche, the emotional beats stay, but the tension has to match your audience's real problems. This is where your voice comes in. Same system, different execution. Third, build a video ideation system. And this is where things start compounding. Go back to NotebookLM and ask, based on these patterns, generate 20 video ideas with hooks, outlines, and why they would perform. Now you're not guessing ideas anymore, you're pulling from proven patterns. And here's a shortcut most people completely miss. Once you have those ideas, you can run them through a tool like TubeMagic and instantly turn them into full outlines or scripts. If you want to try the exact tools I'm using, I've linked them below. This is where your workflow shifts from manual to semi-automated. And suddenly, output is no longer your bottleneck. What you end up with is not just ideas. It's a content calendar built on the same logic that made your reference channel successful. Not random, pattern-backed. Fourth, build your production workflow, because this is where everything connects. Every video follows the same structure. Hook, value loops, emotional shifts, strong close, no guessing, no starting from scratch, just execution. And this matters more than most people realize because inspiration is inconsistent, but systems are reliable. The channels that grow are not the most talented. They're the most consistent, and consistency becomes easy when you're not relying on inspiration anymore. Let me show you why this is such a big deal. Because this is the shift that changes everything. Most creators are guessing. They're guessing what topic will work, guessing what hook will land, guessing what structure will keep people watching. And every time they upload, they're hoping it works. But hope is not a strategy. This system removes that guessing. It replaces it with patterns, proven patterns. And once you make that switch from guessing to recognizing what actually works, everything changes. Your ideas come faster, your scripts feel clearer, your videos start holding attention longer. And most importantly, you stop second-guessing every decision. Because you're no longer starting from scratch. You're building on top of something that already works. And that's when content creation stops feeling random and starts feeling predictable. Everything speeds up. Now let's address something important. Because at this point, some of you are probably thinking, is this actually ethical? And that's a fair question, so let's be clear. This is not about copying content, it's not about re-uploading videos, and it's definitely not about stealing someone else's work. What this is structural learning at scale. The same way business schools teach you to study successful companies. The same way writers study great authors. The same way filmmakers break down great films. You're not copying what they say, you're understanding how they think. That's the difference. The goal is not to become them, it's to find your own voice inside a proven structure, because structure gives you direction. But your perspective, your delivery, your insights, that's what makes it yours. And that combination is far more powerful than either one alone. And this is exactly why two creators can use the same framework and feel completely different. Same structure, different voice, different experience, different results. Now here's where this gets even more powerful. Because most people stop at analyzing one channel, but if you really want an edge, analyze 3. Take 3 successful channels in your niche, run the same process on each one. Extract 3 separate blueprints, then combine them. Feed those blueprints back into NotebookLM and ask it to identify the overlapping patterns. What you'll get is not a copy of any one creator. You'll get a synthesized framework built from multiple proven sources, and that's where things shift. Because now you're not following one model, you're building your own. A system based on what works across the entire niche, not just one channel. And that's a real competitive advantage, because very few creators are thinking at that level. And this is the moment where everything changes, where you stop copying patterns and start owning them. Because once you understand the patterns, you're no longer reacting to success. You're creating it. So here's exactly what you should do next, because this is the point where most people either move forward or stay stuck. Now here's something I want you to really think about. Most creators spend years figuring this out, uploading video after video, testing hooks, testing structures, trying to understand what actually keeps people watching. And most of that learning comes from failure. Slow, frustrating, trial and error. That is the traditional path. And it takes a long time. But what you've just built today shortcuts that entire process. You're standing on the shoulders of creators who have already gone through that trial and error. Their results have already revealed the patterns, you're just extracting them, which means you don't have to learn everything the hard way. And in 2026, with tools like NotebookLM, there's really no reason to start from zero anymore. So here's what you do. Starting today, not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Today. 1. Choose a successful channel in your niche. 2. Pull the transcripts from their top 5 videos. 3. Upload them into NotebookLM and run the prompts. 4. Take the blueprint and adapt it to your voice. 5. Generate your first 20 content ideas. 6. Create your first video using the system, and then watch what happens. Compare it to your previous content. Look at the difference. That's the system working, that's the shift. That's the whole process. It's not complicated, but it is strategic. And strategy executed consistently is what separates channels that grow from channels that stay stuck. And once you run this once, you'll realize something. It's repeatable. And when something becomes repeatable, that's when it starts to scale. Now, if this is the kind of content strategy you want to go deeper into, you should subscribe. Because this is just the beginning. We're building out an entire Automation 2.0 series, focused on tools, workflows, and systems like this, designed for creators who want to grow faster and smarter in 2026. And I want to hear from you. Comment below with the channel you're going to analyze. I want to see who's actually serious about using this. I read every comment, and I'm genuinely curious what niche you're building in. And in the next video, I'm going to show you something completely different. How creators are using AI-generated characters and simple visual formats to create insanely viral videos in niches you would never expect, and how you can replicate it step by step. So if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, because the creators who learn this now are going to have a massive advantage over everyone else still guessing. And I'll see you in the next one.